Hello everyone, this is Princess here, and for today's video we're going to look at the new character coming into Opera Omnia, which is probably another interesting choice next to Lunafreya. This is Reks from Final Fantasy XII. For those who don't know, he's Vaughn's older brother, and you saw him in the beginning of the game for like a few minutes, and then he's just killed off. Very weird, but his addition is actually pretty nice. So like his kit is pretty fun to play around with. And we're gonna go over what it does. So I'm gonna do things a little differently this time around. I'm just gonna go over everything, including the Force and Burst and then the Shinryu, just so like I don't have to like cut the video into two parts. Normally I don't like my videos being really long, but I'm gonna try something different this time around. So with all that being said, let's get started. So Reks is a red crystal character who uses swords. His main gimmick is that he has single target cover, he can enchant the party with the thunder element, and he has a preemptive attack similar to what Snow has with his LD. So looking at his skills, I'm going to be looking at the skills with their extensions and the weapon passives now. So first off, we have Blade Combo, which will grant him 1 level of Dalmasca's Loyal Soldier for 6 turns. It's an overhead effect, and then he will deal a 4-hit AoE Brave split HP attack dealt 4 times. It has a 180% Stolen Brave Overflow, and then raises Brave based on damage dealt after each attack. Get used to seeing that a lot. So then we have his effect over here. So Dalmasca's Loyal Soldier, this will trigger Remove Obstacle before his turn, and the trigger does stack with other buffs, and then upgrades to Remove Obstacle Plus at 2 levels. So the level increases by 1 when Reks receives a Brave damage or HP damage. It is once per turn. It also raises Rex's attack and max Brave by 20%, and then his defense by 40%, and also raises the party's defense by 40%, and then changes his Brave and HP attack into plus variants. So just a quick look at Remove Obstacles. So it's a 4-hit AoE Brave split HP attack that is dealt twice. It has a 150% Stolen Brave Overflow, and then raises Brave based on damage dealt after each attack except for the last one. This is when he has his effect active or his burst effect active. And then for the plus variant, Remove Obstacle Plus, it's pretty much the same thing, but the attack is dealt 4 times and then reduces to 1 level afterwards. So then we have his second skill, which is called Shield Rush. It's a 5-hit Brave HP attack that is dealt 4 times. It has a 150% Stolen Brave Overflow. It raises Brave based on damage dealt after each HP attack, and it deals splash damage. It also inflicts attack down to all enemies for 6 turns and grants party members, except for Reks, the We Have Little Time buff for 10 turns. So here is the attack down buff. It's actually pretty potent too. It's like 40% down. And then for We Have Little Time, Reks will cover for anyone who has this buff, and it also grants 20% HP damage resist. So then for his C65, it is HP Heal Attack All, which will heal the party's HP by 20% of Rex's HP, and it also raises the party's attack and Brave damage cap. So then looking at Rex's call, his base call is going to be Blade Combo. He will inflict Striking Thunderstorm to all enemies for 3 turns, and then Blade Combo itself will raise the caller's attack, max Brave defense, and then party defense for 6 turns. And then Striking Thunderstorm, I should note, is his EX debuff, and it does a lot of things. It lowers Thunder Resist, Brave damage, HP damage, and then HP damage resist. Okay, so then for the LD call, he will use Wide Ruin, which will again inflict Striking Thunderstorm. It also raises the caller's Brave and HP damage resist, and it does a lot for the party. It grants Party Thunder Enchant, raises the party's Brave and HP damage resist, HP damage, Stolen Brave Overflow, and Gain Brave Overflow. So then looking at the spears and passives, so Reks has a B spear called HP Damage Boost Up Shorter. This raises max Brave by 20% per 3 turns when you're taking HP damage. Then for his artifacts, you want to go with the usual, which is attack and max Brave, and then his C50. So what this does is it raises attack and max Brave by 5% when he has Dalmasca's Loyal Soldier active. Okay, so then moving on to Rex's armor. So he has the Buckler as his 35 CP armor. This raises his attack by 72 and his defense by 84. Then you have his 90 CP armor, which is the Galbana Lilies. So what this does is raises HP by 680 and initial Brave by 110. And then when you realize it, it adds 220 to his max Brave and then 84 to his defense. Then you have his high armor, which is literally just Rex's armor. This raises the party's attack and max brave cap by 5%. So then for his EX skill, so his EX weapon is the Ice Brand, and this grants him the skill Yellow Storm. It's a 2-hit Brave HP attack that is dealt 6 times and has a 180% Stolen Brave overflow. It raises Brave based on damage dealt after each HP attack. It deals splash damage and inflicts Striking Thunderstorm to all enemies for 6 turns. And just about the EX plus. So at 2 out of 3, you will start the quest with Dalmasca's Loyal Soldier at level 1 for 6 turns, and Striking Thunderstorm to all enemies for 3 turns. And it's pretty much the same as like when you use it as a call. And then for Striking Thunderstorm, which I did not have on here apparently. Hold on, hang on. Okay, so yeah, I did forget to put the info on here, but basically what Striking Thunderstorm does is it lowers Thunder Resist and then lowers Brave damage, HP damage, and HP damage resist. So basically everything that I mentioned in the call. So we have his LD weapon, which will grant the skill Wide Ruin. This will grant him War Aegis, I don't know how to pronounce this word, but it grants him this buff for 12 turns and then deals a 5-hit AoE Thunder Brave full HP attack that is dealt 4 times. It has a 180% Stolen Brave overflow, raises Brave based on damage dealt after each attack, and it grants him a free skill use. And then as for his buff itself, so it raises Rex's HP damage resist, and Brave damage resist. It grants the party Thunder Enchant, raises the party's Brave damage resist and HP damage resist. And then with the boards, it adds HP damage up, Stolen Brave overflow up, and then gain Brave overflow up, and also upgrades his Brave and HP attack. So then for his Force weapon, it is the Diamond Sword and grants the Force time mutual improvement, and his partner is going to be Jack, the Type 0 Jack. And this will grant him 5 levels of Dalmasca's Loyal Soldier for 6 turns. It deals a 6-hit AoE Brave split HP attack dealt 4 times and inflicts Striking Thunderstorm to all enemies for 6 turns. And then looking at the bonus, so 30% when you're using a Thunder Elemental skill, 40% when a party member has an active effect, but triggers and launches are excluded for the first 2, and then 20% when Brave damage is reduced or absorbed by a buff, but it is once per turn. So overall, some pretty easy conditions to fill out. He does fill out most of this himself, and everyone else can kind of like jump in on this. So then we have his burst weapon, which is called the Stone Blade, and this grants the finishing burst Shining Nova. It's a 12-hit Brave HP attack that is dealt twice, and the burst effect is 6 turns. So looking at the burst effect itself, so this will trigger Remove Obstacle twice. Again, the trigger stacks with other buffs, and the levels do not go down. In addition, it raises the party's Brave damage and Brave damage cap by 50%, HP damage by 20%, and then max Brave cap by 30%. So then moving on to the boss, we have the Death Arms. They are Rafflesia type bosses, and you're going to be fighting 2 of them. Oh, sorry about that. So looking at their attacks, you can see a lot of them are guaranteed hits, so evasion really isn't going to help you here. They will use Tentacle Knock below 70, 40, and 30% of their HP, and they will also use Gear Slash Plus when you're hitting them with an elemental enchant that's other than water or thunder. So that's also a reason why Garnet has synergy on here. And basically what Gear Slash Plus is just like a counter attack that dispels buffs, including frame buffs. Also, they do have their turns locked, so like you can't delay them even when you break them, and you can't delete their turns either. So moving on to their force gauge. So starting with their weakness, it's a pretty specific one too. They basically want you to use Reks for this. You have to use a Thunder Force, a Thunder Melee Force that inflicts a debuff, and party members have an effect. And basically this all has to be like from one person. It can't just be like from someone else. And then for their gauge, it always goes up by 4% for the whole fight whenever the player acts. And the counter from before that I mentioned counters non-water thunder with Gear Slash Plus. And then for their force time, they will use Photon Laser for 10 turns. They do have a plus variant that can be used instead if no one has an effect. So if you're doing the Shinryu, make sure someone has an overhead effect, just so you don't trigger the plus variant. And then for their force time, they just heal 80% of any damage received. So similar to like Braska's Final Aeon or the machines that you fought in Jesse's Lost Chapter, or Jesse's event. So with all of that being said, I'm going to head over to JP now, and I'm going to showcase Reks' skills. So I will be right back. Alright, so here is the entirety of Rex's Lost Chapter and just what it's going to look like. So you're going to start over here on the bottom right and then make your way over here to the left. So just going over to the Lufenia. So here's my Rex over here. I did end up building him, and honestly, I have a lot of fun with him. I haven't used him a whole lot, but he's very, very fun to play with, and if you use him in the right team comp, he can really dish out a lot of damage during burst phase. I know it's a little weird to say, and I did mention that he is a cover tank, but he can definitely dish out a lot of damage. Alright, so here are the death arms. And that was remove obstacle. Okay, so we're gonna start with shield rush actually, just so Garnet will have the we have little time buff, so you can see it over her head. I'm just gonna do some HP attacks with her. So keep in mind that this will be active on all party members except for Reks. So now he's covering for Garnet. Okay, so I'm just going to do another HP attack over here with Garnet. And then I'm going to go in and use his... So there we go. Now he does have remove obstacle plus on him. And remember, the stacks go up on his effect when he takes damage. So you want to make sure he takes damage if you want to trigger the plus variant. So now we're going to use Blade Combo. Okay, so now here's his LD, which is Wide Ruin. Now remember, that's full HP damage, which is really nice. Okay, so now that we use his LD, you can see he's got a free skill use. So now we're going to use, where is it? We're going to use his EX. Just like that. Okay, so now here's the Force Mutual Improvement. So they exchange weapons with each other. And yeah, they just like fight the boss that way, so that's pretty nice. Alright, so now finally here is the burst, which is Shining Nova. He's going to do the Looney Tunes circle, as I've heard folks saying it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So remember, when you have that burst effect up, let me see if I can find it. So his his remove obstacle attack triggers twice. It does stack with other buffs, and then the levels don't go down. So, like I mentioned, in my thoughts, I mentioned that, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really use him a whole lot. He is definitely more of a damage dealer than a cover tank. That's what I think anyway. But he can really dish out a lot of damage when you use him in the right team comp. And if you don't want to pull for him now, he does come back in Arc 4, Chapter 4, I want to say. It's the one when Weiss debuts. It's in Part 2. He comes back along with Core. So if you're not pulling for him now, then that's also where you can pull for him. But anyway, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you will be pulling for Reks, and I will see you all next time.